Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I just got off a very long, busy workday, and I'm looking like a truck stop tranny hooker hot mess. Okay, that's probably a little bit of an exaggeration. It was a very no makeup day today, but at this point, you could call it dewy, you could call it glowy. I call it greasy as fuck. Like, I look crazy. So let's go ahead and fix it up and give it like a nighttime glam kind of look using the Soft Glam palette from Anastasia. So first things first, I'm gonna get this hair up out of the way a little bit. It's been definitely sticking to my greasy face all day. And when I'm kind of reworking makeup that I already have on, I'm gonna start by getting a Q-tip and getting those eye boogers right out of there. And then I'm just gonna take a large powder puff and just kind of press that into my skin just to absorb the grease and the oil off of my skin. And it's been a while now, but I think somebody actually asked me to do a, like, not even just like a daytime to nighttime look, but just kind of reworking and revamping your makeup from like daytime to nighttime. You've been wearing some makeup for a while and you really just want to kind of fix it up and not have to redo the whole thing. I'm still gonna be like a total bearded lady by the end of this. I really need to shave, but whatever, it's cool. I didn't wear any actual eye makeup today. I just had some eye cream on. It was like a tinted eye cream. I had and I still have the IT Cosmetics Celebration Foundation, the powder, not the SPF one, but like the regular version. I'm gonna go in with the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion in the shade Eden. And again, for me, this one is light enough that it really does act as a concealer as well. And especially, you know, getting into like, let's see, like the inner corner here, if I want to kind of brighten that up, if I have any kind of like shadows, or if you're tired from your workday or whatever, you don't have time to take a nap before you go out, it'll just kind of cover up any of that. If you have any bruising in your eye socket from your Botox from last week, it'll kind of cover that up too. Just gonna buff that in with this tiny little, it's like a little kabuki brush. It's like an eye kabuki brush. I really like this one. Bringing that down underneath the eye because we are gonna be doing a lot of eyeshadow underneath as well. My lipstick is basically non-existent at this point. I still just basically have some lip liner around my lips, which I believe it's Whirl. I have Whirl by MAC on. And I'm not gonna set the entire eyelid with powder. I'm just gonna set like the brow bone and the area where I wanna blend my transition out. I'm gonna go into Tempura from the Soft Glam palette and I'm gonna set my brow bone. What I've noticed with this palette is that if you set your eyeshadow primer with the powder and then go over top of it with your shadow colors, the shadows do tend to be just a little bit patchy, especially if you're trying to like pat a lot of color onto the lid. I felt like I got a little bit of patchiness with it. So I'm gonna go in with the Morphe M573 and I'm gonna take the color Burnt Orange. Yeah, ever since the Soft Glam palette came out, it was like one of those things where I felt like I could have duped it so many times with things in my own collection that I already had. So I just kept putting it off, putting it off, putting it off. And Soft Glam spoke to me, I mean, really just because of the name. It has the word glam in it. And obviously that's my thing. I've got the words glam rock tattooed on my knuckles. And the guy that did them, he actually did a lot of my tattoos. And he did a lot of really good work on me. Like, he did a lot of work that I'm really happy with. These were his first set of knuckles, which I didn't know that going in at the time, that he had never done them before. And I mean, I would have let him do them anyway, because like I was young and I didn't give a shit. Like the letters all kind of ended up being off center. The A in glam was like totally blown out. And if you know what that means, like you can see where like that ink is just kind of blown out at the bottom part of that A, all throughout it actually. Definitely not this dude's best work, and I'm sure it's not his proudest moment either. And I had gone in, I don't know, a few years later and had them like fixed, but I don't know that there was really anything that could be done with them at that point because they were just so bad. You're young, you don't know. You just kind of go to whoever you think's gonna be good and you just kind of trust that that's their job, so they're gonna do a good job, you know what I mean? But yeah, we all have our bad days. But what I would like to do is I would actually like to lighten them up a little bit with laser and then go back in, instead of having it say glam rock, I would like to have it say cock rock shock pop. And now I'm gonna go into the shade Sienna on a Morphe M433. Just kind of lightly press that into there. But no, when I first got these tattoos, I was going to have them say cock rock. But I don't know if somebody talked me out of it or if I just kind of like got scared and backed out. I mean, it's been like 15 years ago, so I don't exactly remember. But I remember at some point the plan was going to be to have my knuckles say cock rock instead of glam rock. And if you're at all familiar with hair metal or 80s metal or anything, cock rock was just like a term that was used to describe that kind of music. And then when Pretty Boy Floyd released their album in 1989, the original title for that album, Leather Boys with Electric Toys, was supposed to be Cock Rock Shock Pop. It's from what ended up becoming the title track, Leather Boys with Electric Toys. So the story goes, that could totally be a made-up story, but I did see an interview with Steve Summers and Christy Majors, and Christy Majors had said that that was the original title of the album. But either way, at this point in my life, I'm okay with having the word cock written on my knuckles. I don't care. And then I'm going to go back in with that M573 just to kind of blend those two colors together and give it a little bit more of a seamless blend right there. And I'm pretty sure that some of these shades in this palette were repeated from the Modern Renaissance palette. So I know that I have a couple of these shades already. I don't understand why they just didn't put 3 new colors in there, but whatever, it's fine. Yeah, I've actually been playing with this palette a lot since I got it, and I'm a pretty big fan of it. And then I'm gonna go into Mulberry, which I'm actually really excited to play with this one. I think I did dip into it for one eye look, but I didn't really like make that big of a part of the look, you know what I mean? I think I just did a little bit of this color, but I'm really excited to go in and really play around with it. And I think for the most part, if you're mainly sticking in the same kind of color family, I think you can really use like the same brush over and over as you're building those colors up. I've actually been trying to use less brushes in my eye looks, mostly because I just don't know that it's really necessary to use like 11 brushes for one eye look. I mean, yeah, if you're using like a bunch of different like contrasting colors and stuff, sure, but if you're really working within the same color family, once you end up blending everything, it kind of ends up reading as one color anyway, so do you really need to keep changing brushes? Probably not. And then since I want a lot of that color payoff, I'm really kind of like pressing it in and giving it like a little wiggle. This mulberry color has a lot of depth to it. It does really build up and get really dark. I like this one a whole lot. Now I do want to go in with a little bit of a smaller brush. I'm going to go in with the Morphe E36 to take this color underneath my lash line. Just kind of keep it really tight into the lashes for now. I haven't really done anything resembling like a halo smoky eye in a long time, so maybe I'll kind of go a little bit more in that direction. So what do we go into Noir, this black shade here? Darken up the very outer corner of this. And then I'm gonna dip back into Mulberry because I don't really want this to be black. I just wanna really deepen up that Mulberry color. Just kind of layer the two over each other. I feel like I am getting a little bit messy down here, but that's fine. We're gonna go ahead and clean that up in a little bit anyway. So again, just taking whatever is left on that brush and just kind of adding a little bit more depth into that inner corner. So it just kind of enhances that halo effect that we're going for today. I'm gonna go ahead and get some coffee eyeliner on the waterline. And then I'm gonna go into the shade Bronze on my finger, and I'm gonna apply that right over top of the NYX Glitter Primer. And that's gonna really just help to make it pop. And I feel like this shade just goes on so much better with a finger than it does with a brush. And then just dipping back into Mulberry on a Morphe R39, just so I can kind of soften up the edges of that bronze. And then I think I want to put a little bit of that on the center of the lower lash line too, just because I haven't done anything like that in a while. And going back in with Mulberry on this E36 and probably just a little bit of Noir that's still just kind of left over in those bristles, and just kind of darken up the inner corners and maybe darken up the outer corners just a little bit as well. And go ahead and clean up some of this fallout underneath. Yeah, I know that we've definitely kind of wiped away some of the eyeshadow down there, but that's fine because we're gonna go ahead and blend that back out a little bit when we're done here. So I'm gonna go in with my IT Cosmetics Celebration Foundation. This is the SPF 50 version, which I actually prefer to the regular version. I've mentioned in a previous video that the regular version of the Celebration Foundation, it's pressed so hard that it's hard to get anything out of the compact, and it takes a long time to really build it up. So now if you're going from daytime to nighttime, do you really need any SPF? Probably not, but again, I like this one, so this is just what I'm using for today. I actually wore this foundation to Cedar Point on Sunday, and it definitely kept me from getting sunburnt. Like, I got no sun at all that day. I'm gonna take a smaller brush just to get right into the area where the eyeshadow meets. So I'm gonna go into Burnt Orange on a Morphe M507 just to kind of soften up that harsh edge that kind of happened when I wiped away the fallout. And then for an inner corner highlight, I'm gonna go into the shade Glistening, and I'm gonna pop that right over top of the NYX Glitter Primer. You guys all know I'm doing that. That's a really pretty color. I need to quickly re-highlight with the Maybelline Master Chrome. And again, this is the shade Molten Rose Gold. I like this one a lot. These brows have definitely seen better days, so I am gonna go into Omega by MAC on this Sigma E25, and I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of redo those eyebrows a little bit right there. Dip into Naked by Urban Decay and kind of redefine my nose contour a little bit. A little bit of dip brow in Taupe. A little bit of Stud eyebrow pencil just to kind of further define the eyebrows. A little bit of Voluminous Lash Paradise in the waterproof formula. So that's pretty much it. Just kind of fixed up what I already had going on for the whole day. It was a little bit messy, it was a little bit oily, it was a little bit crazy. We reworked the foundation, reworked the brows, touched up the lips with some gloss, and of course went in with a brand new eye look. I mean, I didn't have an eye look going on before, but you know what I mean. And of course, as always, if you like this video, if you like this look, please give it a thumbs up. Be sure to hit the subscription button down below. Tell all your friends about it so they know to watch, and I'll see you guys on the next one.